I'm so excited to speak to these guys. Are amazing, first of all, because these are two of the top 6 disruptors on the planet right now. Play golf now, or what happens? What are you going to do?
No, I'm going to. It takes to ship things. The transit time basically tripled of moving things from Asia to the United States. The price quadrupled.
Ask how negotiations are going. I mean, this obviously has implications for the markets.
I don't have any inside info. I don't know.
Wow. Okay, well, let's hope it gets resolved, because obviously we live in a high inflationary time, which, of course, everyone's concerned might drive us into recession, unfortunately. But Dan, what are you seeing in terms of the congestion, the prices coming down, as you mentioned, labor?
Yeah, so let's market shifting back. Now there's a surplus of capacity, and the rates are starting to collapse.
So do you think we're close to like a neutral equilibrium then? So it's not too hot, not too cold? Because for the past year, it was just raging on fire.
If we could stop, like if it stopped right now, I would call it an equilibrium, but it's probably going to keep going a little bit.
Ryan, what about you from China? Because I'm sure you've been asked over and over again, are the China COVID lockdowns getting better? And what does that mean for global shipping?
Yeah, they must have been real 35. So.
You can do that? You can
Ryan,
overrule?
So like, I would imagine though, I mean.
So it's very unusual, if you look at a long-term historical perspective, to go 10 years without a recession.
And, but then, your partner over there, Dan, over at Convoy, you also raised around $300 million to start off this year as well.
That's right, yeah.
I say this, but this downturn, how long are you, I guess, predicting and planning for? Look, I'm sorry.
The beautiful thing is I don't need to make any.
We're at the auto tech stage, so let's talk about happier things like innovation, which is something that you guys have obviously pioneered, and bringing new tech to old industries. So tell me about the next trends then, in terms of what you're doing at Flexport and Convoy, and what type of trends you're seeing in logistics and supply chain management.
Well, the fundamental problem in global freight.
$15 trillion market for global shipping. That's a huge TAM.
15 trillion. That's also because it's bigger than the oil industry. Is the price of shipping, and there's no one company that can. The oil industry is the price of shipping, and there's no one company that can move a container door to door by itself. You've got a trucking company in one country, or more than one in many cases. A warehouse that it's got to stop at and be consolidated, another truck to take it to the port, clear it out of customs, put it on a ship. Like, it's a chain, a supply chain. And how do you get all these people to communicate? That is the fundamental problem. Getting data to flow seamlessly across. Many of these companies are like old school, using clipboards, exchanging email. Our industry is called freight forwarding. I often joke it should be called freight email forwarding.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is, how do you make it in the asset owner's interest to put their asset onto your platform?
Right.
And there's 2 possible paths. One is you buy all the assets and you create this like global megacorp that can ship anything anywhere. And the other is you use machine learning and you make it so that you're able to optimize that asset, whether that's through routing, through loading, consolidating loads on there. But that by putting this asset here, you get more value from your asset. You get a higher return on capital. And then you're also teaching the machine learning model.
And on an aspirational note, and when people saw that I was hosting this panel, and you being innovative founders, a lot of people asked me, can you ask them what advice they would give to budding entrepreneurs? Number one of the top 6 disruptors, both of you are. So what would you say to people over here, that come up to you at this event and say, how do I become the next Ryan Peterson or next Dan Lewis? And thank you so much for sharing it today. I have to say, I'm so impressed by these individuals. So it was a pleasure for me as well. Thank you so much. Ryan Peterson, Flexport.